when I project my consciousness into a non-physical environment, this has an energetic effect on the physical body system. So, for instance, on a morning when I have been projecting my consciousness, my physical body experiences massive amounts of energy. And right now there's a ton of energy running through me, and there's various feelings to this. So there's different aspects to the feeling of it. Sometimes it may just feel like my heart's beating very quickly, sort of like I've just drank a couple cups of coffee. Sometimes it is more mellow and more even, and it just feels like maybe like I'm a pipe with a very fast and steady flow of water running through it. So sort of all kinds of different feelings to it, but a lot more energy. And my current receiving skills for this energy, it usually takes me about 3 days to run the energy after a morning full of projections. At that point, I may have small experiences, momentary experiences of coming lucid in a non-physical environment, or, that thing where the energy's back off and give me a little space to remember to reconnect with them to move in any further. It'll take me another 3 or 4 days for everything to completely even back out again. Not to where the energy is down where it was before I started, but for me to reacclimate myself up to the higher energy. So about a week before I will have a morning full of projections again. Right now there is so much energy running through me, it's rather challenging for me to sit still and make this video. But this morning was terribly fun, and so I definitely want to get this one out. Another thing that is becoming more and more clear is the way. I don't know if this is common for everybody, or if it is just my way, or maybe it is common for everybody, but the specifics to this are different for everyone. But the more I project, the more I realize, and the clearer it gets, that the way for me to shift from a physical focus to a non-physical focus, or from a physical environment to a non-physical environment, is to merge with sound. And this probably started about 6 months after I first started going out of body and projecting. I would notice that in the morning, I live in Southern California, where the gardeners are always out at 6 a.m. with their leaf blowers and such, and this is when I practice projecting. And so I noticed that if I didn't let the sound of all the leaf blowers get to me, if I instead just opened up and listened to the sound, the way I would listen to a teacher when I'm at satsang, if I opened up and really listened to the sound, I could somehow get myself inside of it, and I would go into vibration. I would start experiencing myself as sound. And when this happens, I shift. I shift from physical to non-physical, depending on the degree and depth to which I've merged into the sound, and how much energy I have to project. Meaning, if I just projected yesterday, I may not have the energy acclimated to the point where I could fully project today, but say it was a week later, then I'd be able to fully project. But this is really cool, and I think that I'm going to go into a video series about this, about the various ways in which I transition. So the transition that's common to a lucid dream, the transition that's common to an out-of-body experience, phasing, projecting, because the transitions are all quite unique. I just have to let myself finish getting clear about it. Okay, so this morning I was merging with the sound of my friend Eric, who has always, his presence is very palpable, very, very tangible, sort of like standing in front of a bass speaker. Your body can feel it. And so this palpable energy of his has always had a sound. I have always been aware of it. And on top of this, when we first met, he used to say my name, Om Casey. And he has this terribly resonant voice. And again, this sound. His sound and this particular sound of him saying my name has always has been prevalent in my experience for the last, 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not sure how long ago we met now in person. It's been a while. But anyway, this morning, Eric was in the non-physical environment, and I merged with his sound. Merging with his sound caused an acceleration in my energy, an acceleration in my consciousness, and I projected way out into this way cool astral projection. I made 3 transitions in this one. Into different locations of the same environment. I'm not sure how to begin. I'm never sure how to begin. Well, I'll just say I start feeling the acceleration. I feel it in my physical body and my non-physical body. So come lucid in the feeling of the transition. And it's a strong one. It is the one that's typical to me, to what I call an astral projection. And it takes me clean through. I'm in the future. I am in a futuristic version of the Las Vegas casino, the Rio. If any of you have ever, I'm from Las Vegas, so a lot of my dreams and lucid dreams and projections take place in a casino. It's sort of funny. But I'm in a future version of the Rio Hotel Casino. I take a moment, realize where I am, and start looking around for someone familiar. And I'm doing this consciously, intentionally. I'm scanning the room. I see what in our reality would be a video poker bar, but the machines at this game table are not video poker machines. They're different. They're very futuristic. I don't know what they are. But there's this one man whose task it is to express a particular statement with facial features. And he goes ahead and does this, is successful, and everybody is applauding him. And I'm continuing to just sort of pan the room, looking for someone familiar. In the middle of doing this, I transition. So in my astral projections, I very rarely walk or fly to get anywhere. If I have the idea of looking around for someone familiar, I'm probably going to transition into a location. I'm going to dematerialize and materialize where someone familiar is going to be. And this is what happens. I transition and find myself in what could have been, one of the nightclub areas. The space is dark. The room is full of people. Everyone's sitting around with drinks. And I come straight in. I see who I'm looking for, and sit down in front of this man as a few syllables roll off my lips, which was supposed to be his name. Got his name wrong. I felt like I knew it at least 60% of the way, but got it wrong. And these people, this man is looking at me, and a short conversation ensues about why this is exactly the reason I may not be the right person for this job. And I'm still not fully aware of why I'm here yet, but I know that I want to tell this person who I am, meaning Casey. It's Casey that has shown up in this persona, and I was going to tell him how I got here. I ask him if I can speak with him privately. He says yes, and we get up and start walking somewhere private when I transition again. The next place I come into is, it's still the Rio Casino, but now we're outside and we're in a tram, and the tram is full of other people. It's here where it becomes clear that I'm part of a renegade freedom fighter group. I'm the leader of this group, and again, I'm not sure what we're doing here, but there's this one woman. She was at the table as well. The whole group that was at the table is here. She's the one catching my eye, and I'm seeing some of the men hop over into another section, and I'm looking at her because we're missing it, and I'm looking at her like, are we going? And at this point, I start hearing a voice talking about how the guards have no guns and everything, but one of the passengers does. And although I'm in the back of the tram, I have clear vision of this sort of baggie, I guess, full of papers, identification papers, such as a gun that one of the passengers had. And then one of the passengers, a man, says, "You're not the actual Babe Forthright, are you?" And he's looking at me, and I look at him, and I realize he's said a name, and I've caught the Babe, but as he says the last name, it keeps fumbling out. My hearing fails, and I want to hear this name because I want to bring this name back with me. And I ask him to repeat the last name. I ask him 3 times to repeat it, and on the 3rd time I finally caught it. And as I do catch it, he's being ejected from the tram, and I reach out and I save him, and I resituate his seat back onto another, realizing that they're about to, he can just as easily be ejected again. And at this point I start feeling myself very huge. I am now like a titan in size in comparison to the people on the tram. And this is when I transition out through the void, and the journey completes.